What you have to get is this, understand this. The faith to most of these guys will not be defined by what they ultimately possess. Hear me? But by the attitude. They died without fully receiving. Most of them did not fully receive what was promised. So it's not a matter of only receiving, but the attitude. The attitude. Are you understanding me? Yeah. The attitude. And that's why I want you to get the attitude. Let's say together the attitude. All these died in faith without receiving what was ultimately promised. But having seen it afar off, they welcomed it at a distance. And they confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. Couple of things I want you to understand. Faith was defined by a future reality, not by their current circumstances. Right. All these died in faith, but having seen it afar off, none of them were trapped by the present. None of them were trapped by the present, having seen it afar off. Abraham is standing in his day with a promise, and the natural circumstances, he took note of it, but that did not imprison him. He only acted because he saw something beyond the immediate. Now, if you live inside of this environment, and every day this is what you see, and what you see begins to fight against what you believe, it only becomes easy for you to collapse into what we've been accustomed to. Because if the natural circumstances of your life continues to fight against your point of conviction, you'll find yourself collapsing into what you've grown accustomed to. Understand? Because Hebrews says this. Hebrews says that if they were not prepared to move to what they were seeing, they would easily return to the land from which they came. You have to be prepared to live beyond your present circumstance. Having seen it afar off, their future perception impacted upon their current reality. Faith is not some arbitrary thing. The practicals of faith requires that you lift your gaze with hope towards a future, not be imprisoned by your present. You follow me? Secondly, understand this, that your future perception impacts upon the way in which you interact with your present reality. Listen, and having seen it afar off, all these died in faith without receiving the promise. But having seen it afar off, they welcomed it from a distance, and they confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. Let me paraphrase that. Whatever they saw, it redefined their current circumstance. Whatever they saw, it redefined their current circumstance. This is Abraham standing in the earth. God is calling me to that reality. This is my current circumstance. The more I see my future reality, is the more I confess. And that confess is not a verbal statement. It is a position of conviction. It's the more my position of conviction establishes itself in my heart, and I say, I'm a stranger to my current reality. I'm a stranger to my current reality, because that's home. That's home. Having seen it afar off, they welcomed it at a distance, and they arrived at this point of powerful conviction that their current circumstance is not their eternal reality. They confessed that they were strangers. This is not home. I'm an alien to this reality. I'm an alien. This is not home. This is not home. My life is not defined by my current circumstances. This is not home. Having seen it afar off, they confessed their current reality was redefined by their future perception. What are you seeing? Every time God touched a man, he will ask him that critical question, what do you see? Because as far as your eyes can see, I will give to you. And if you cannot see beyond your immediate, you have imprisoned yourself by your own blindness. Wow. It's not God's fault. All these died in faith without receiving the promise, but they had an attitude, they had a disposition, they had their own way of life. They all lived by this reality, having seen it afar off. Having seen it afar off, they were not trapped by the present. They were not imprisoned by their immediate circumstances. They confessed. Whatever they saw redefined their current reality. And if you can only see it, one day Jesus said, speaking to his disciples, he said, my food is to do the will of him who sent me and to finish his work. Jesus was not engaged in some religious ritual. I am here just kind of going through a religious exercise. My food is to do the will of what God called me to do and to bring this work to completion. And that mindset changed everything about the way his current reality was perceived. He already said, my food is to do the will of him who sent me and to finish his work. Do you not say 3 months more and then the harvest? That's what you say. But I say the harvest is already right. My reality is different from yours. My reality is far different from yours. Because of the mentality, because of the attitude. I don't care what your circumstances are like. If your attitude and if your mentality is properly calibrated, your current circumstances will be really fine. You will see it differently. Are you understanding me? You would see it differently. Now think about that in the context. Let me tell you this. If your internal configuration is as such that your attitude is right, I could take 2 persons and put them on the side of the road to live off of a cardboard box. One person will make his cardboard box a 5-star hotel. It will be neat, organized, well put together, and he knows that this is temporary. I'm out of here soon. Another person will have the same cardboard box, disorganized, untidy, messed up, dirty. Put it another way. Take those 2 persons and put the one with an internal position that's different, mindset, attitude different. Put him in a cardboard box at the side of the road, same person. And take the other one whose mindset is so imprisoned by the present and put that person in a 5-star hotel. Before long, the 5-star room would look like a dump. Wow. It has nothing to do with the current circumstances. What lives here? What lives between your 2 air? What lives there? Having seen it afar off, they confessed they were strangers and pilgrims in the earth. Jesus standing with his own disciples. They are seeing one thing, he is seeing something else. Because he said, this is my mindset. I am not here going through a religious ritual. I'm here to do the will of him who sent me and to finish this work. And that mindset changes everything about my current reality. And it's not that his current reality is different. It's the same as yours. But he interacts with it differently. He deals with it differently. He's not complaining and grumbling and murmuring and upset and refusing to take responsibility. His entire world is redefined by his perception and shape of mind. Wow. What do you see? Are you understanding me? Yes. Are you understanding me? Yes. Listen, you can live in absolute poverty. Absolute poverty. Do you understand that the Savior of the world was born in a manger? In a manger? He wasn't born in a palace. Do you know that David, King David, upon which the very structure of the kingdom is built and mirrored after, that man ran around like a vagabond living in caves? Because we think that life is offered to us on a silver platter. Do you know Abraham, the platform upon which our New Testament faith is defined? The man was a pagan. The man didn't grow up in church with a Bible in his hand. He was a pagan. Look at where they started. Look at where they all started. And you'll understand that we have the same background, you know, all of us. We have to fight our way to what we have to get. Unfortunately, Christianity, sad to say, it has not done us much favors, because we see Christianity through a religious frame. It's time for us in Liberia to lift ourselves up. All these died in faith without receiving the promise. But having seen it afar off, they welcomed it at a distance, and they confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims in the earth. It said, and had they called to mind the country from which they came, they would have had a desire to go back to it again. Have you read that before? Yeah. Had they called to mind the country from which they came, they would have returned to it again. Returning to it again may not necessarily mean that they physically returned, but in their minds they go right back to the ghetto. Yeah. Right back to the ghetto. So a man like Abraham, if Hebrews 11 is truth, had he called to mind the city from which he came, he would have returned to it again, and he would be living in the land of promise, but his mindset goes right back to Calvary. Amen. That you can find yourself maybe 10 years from now, the CEO of a big company, but you are still living in the backside of some remote part of Liberia, because you have not divorced yourself from your history. Third important principle. All these died in faith without receiving the promise, having seen the far off. Understand that? They were not trapped by the present. They were looking at something beyond that. A man with no hope is in a sad condition. You must have a sense of hope, something in front of you want to become. That's why I ask you to write down, what do you see God doing in your life? Write it down. Look at it every day. See it. Look at it. Celebrate it. Walk towards it. Having seen it afar off, they welcomed it. They welcomed it. They welcomed it. Let's say together, they welcomed it. See, they were not threatened by the unknown. They were not threatened by the unknown. Most people are grown accustomed to their current circumstances. That you are like a blind man. You know, a blind man celebrates life without changes. Because a blind man wants to master the environment as it is. So assuming this is the world that I've grown accustomed to as a blind man. In this world, I know that if I take 2 steps to my right, I'll be by the keyboard. In this world, I take 2 steps back to my left, and I make 3 steps forward, and I am right by this brother. And I know in my world of darkness, I make 1 step to my left, and I'm right here in front of this brother. To get to that one, I know I take at least 4 steps, and I am right there by that brother. In a place where you are blind, you don't like changes, because changes will be catastrophic. You don't want changes. No. Because changes represent catastrophe. So let's assume that's my world. I lived there all my life. You now come to my house and you want to redecorate. So you move the piano from there and you put it there. You no longer stand there, you stand there. You move from there, you go somewhere else. My life has just been thrown into a tailspin. I don't like change. The only man who hates change is a blind man. Anything that changes for him disrupts his control.
Wow.
He no longer has mastery over his accustomed environment. He wants to make 2 steps to the right and touch piano. He wants to make 2 steps to the left, make 3 forward and touch the brother here. That is his control. He masters that.
Yeah.
And his problem is not mastery over his environment. His problem is that he is blind. Changes is a catastrophe. And that's how most of us view life. That's why it's so difficult for us to see things afar off and welcome them, because that is a strange world.
Woo.
That is not my accustomed activity. I accustomed getting up in my little village, going down to the shop at the nearest area, buy myself a piece of smoked meat, buy myself a little cup of rice, struggle my way for tomorrow, and that's my accustomed life. And once you disrupt that, my life is thrown in a tailspin. Remember, I said that most people's circumstances self-inflicted. And while you're blaming everybody else, you fail to take responsibility for the circumstances in which you find yourself. Self-inflicted. Self-inflicted. Are you following me?
Yes.
My question is, what are you prepared to do to go from here to there? And does that ahead of you, does that intimidate you? Does it scare you? Does it scare you? Not intimidating. They welcome it. That word welcome in the Greek means to pull to yourself. Almost like how you hug someone, you reach out and pull them to yourself. So for Abraham, he reached out and pulled the future to himself. For Joseph, he reached out and pulled it to himself. When you read the book of Hebrews chapter 11, what we are seeing in these verses is the technology that worked in the heart of every patriarch. That's how they lived. That's the attitude they possessed. And now they are standing in the cloud of witness, looking at us. And every time we fail to hold up the standard, these men are there saying, but my efforts were in vain. You look up at the cloud of witness, you see Abraham with his knife lifted high. He's there, knife lifted high. And he's saying, come on guys, my efforts were weak compared to yours. My efforts are weak compared to yours. You are living in the bigger reality. Something about your position should be superior to mine. We don't read Hebrews 11 and look at the mighty faith of the patriarchs. We are looking at the early stages of a process where we are more mature.
Yeah.
We are more mature. Are you following me?
Yeah.
It's not a day for you to collapse into normalcy. It's a day for you to think. Think. Tell the person next to you, think.
Think.
Think. Time to think. Lift yourself out of the vacuous thought processes that we've grown accustomed to. No thinking. Christianity has said to us that, well, we have to, the Bible talks about, listen, be transformed by the renewing. But what we have grown accustomed to, we thought that the Bible said, be transformed by the removing of your mind. So we remove our minds, we don't think. Come on, guys. Write those things down. Do you have your assignment? I'm clarifying your assignment. What is the assignment? Write down your dreams, your hopes, your aspirations. What am I describing? What do you see afar off? What do you see afar off? Then write down the current circumstance. What's the impediment to the accomplishment of your dreams? And then thirdly, how do you plan to narrow the gap between them? What are you prepared to do? sent me. Christianity don't seem to celebrate doings. When we stand before God, he won't say, well prayed, or well believed. Well done.
Well
Well
done.
done. What are you prepared to do? I want to get back here sometime in the future. I want us to revisit these 3 items. And in revisiting it, I want us to look at Hebrews 11 again because there's a whole bunch of secrets inside of it. What is your current reality? Right? Can you do that? Amen?
Amen.
You understand me tonight?
Yep.
Amen. I think that was okay. I think that was okay. Amen?
Amen.
Amen. Yeah. Come on, let's pray. Let's pray. Let's pray. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Hold on. Thank you, Lord.